Today we're gonna mount this motor inside this car, but I've been kind of stuck at a point. Do I hard mount the subframe by cutting these off, or do I just leave it so that it is a factory mount with the subframe? And you know what, I think I'm just gonna leave it as a factory mount, and the reason for that is I can run it at more shows. A lot of shows actually limit me doing this, so by me leaving it in, I can actually run a lot more shows. So we're gonna leave that in. We're not gonna saws all those off and hard mount it, but it's gonna go in. Who's ready to see this thing go in? I am. It's been a couple days since I put this motor in, and I've done some stuff. Well, I put all the suspension in. I guess I need this for these rims. I put all the suspension in. I've also ground down the calipers, because to fit these rims that I'm going to put on this car, I do need the calipers ground down. I put tubes in the tires I'm about to put on, and that's about it. I've kind of joined up the steering and thrown in all the bottom mounts and all that, but it's been a while since you guys seen these rims. These are my Mazda B2200 rims, and then they're also got the welding centers, because these are a factory 6-bolt rim. And then I got some new doubles that I put on here, which is I got a 185/70/14. A lot of you guys always ask me what doubles do I run. These ones are 185/70/14s. But I do like to run a little bit smaller than this. I find it just leaves a lot more space around your strut, but it's what I got right now. Some of the rule changes for 2019 include I can no longer run 12-inch tires on the back. So the rule that they've made is I can no longer run any tire smaller than 13 inches. And I don't know why, but I guess I gotta follow them. So, all the 8-inch and 12-inch tires I've been running are no longer any good to me. I guess they're good at some shows, just not all of them. But, there you go. Nice and clearance. And yes, you do have to grind the caliper down quite a bit to make these Mazda rims fit, but I like them. I think they fit fantastic, and I think they're pretty tough. So, the next thing we have to do to this car is we have to remove the windshield, and then obviously wire it, put fuel into it, cage, a driver's seat, because this one doesn't have a driver's seat. You know, all that fun stuff. But, happy to see it back on the ground on its own 4 feet. I do like that. We have the motor in, and I'm just going to try to fire this thing up. But first we have to do a little bit of electrical. Now this is that box that the guy that down in the US made for me, and I really like it. He told me what each wire does, but I forget. So what I've done was I've set up the only working test light I have, because honestly this thing is so ugly and big I can't really lose it. And it's got a tire plug in it. So I'm just going to turn on the first toggle switch and I'm going to jam it inside of one. Green? Nope. Yellow? Maybe. Nope, it's got to be black then. Ah, it's black! So black is the first toggle switch. So that one is going to control my computer. Now let's find what the second one is. So it's not black, so it's either green or yellow. Green. Yellow! So the second one's yellow. And that means the last one must be green. There we go. So I got that figured out. So let's just wire this thing in now. Just a little bit more to do and we can see if this thing runs. So I'm having some issues with this. When I originally did this motor, all the plugs were cut off the harness, and I joined them together as best as I could. And as you can see, it was quite a mess, but I got it going, car ran, I was happy, I put it in, and then I got a bad ground. And what I mean by a bad ground is the negative kind of popped off the negative, so the only ground to the entire motor was coming through the harness to the body and to the alternator, and it didn't go so well. And what do I mean by that? It actually melted one of the harness wires, and I'll show it to you, but I'll show that to you right now actually before I show you the main issue. So let's find this wire here. I've torn this whole harness back apart. I was a little nervous doing this. So as you can see, this wire right here, see how she's all melted and kind of, let's see if I can zoom right in on that with my hand. Can you focus? Yes, there you go. Let me just zoom back out. Now you see how that wire is kind of burnt? It goes to the blue plug. Now you can see it right stripped down there. But what has happened now is I've actually lost injector pulse. And I thought it may have been the computer, so I swapped out the computer and it still didn't get it, so I tried another computer that I knew that worked in that car, and I still don't have injector pulse. So what I mean by injector pulse, I say this to a lot of guys, this is your injector harness. Let's just see if I can zoom in here. This plugs into your injector just like this. Just like that. So I unplugged it. Now for this, you need constant power to turn your injector on. So let's just find a negative. See if this light lights up. Anyway, this is really hard to do with one hand. There. So there's your constant power. Now the other one is your pulse power. So that one's your constant and this one over here is your pulse. But the problem is I'm not getting pulse power. And I honestly think it's from this harness. I think there is a short. I traced the wire back up and it honestly looks like there's an issue somewhere, and I do not want to dig into this harness any more than what I have to. I think me digging into this harness was a bad idea to begin with. But I'm going to have to dig into this harness. I know I don't want to do it. I know that. I know that. So what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to take this entire harness out of this car and see what I need to do to get this harness out, and then I'm going to go to the scrapyard tomorrow morning and I'm going to remove a harness from the scrapyard. I'm going to take a thermostat from there as well. I'm going to remove quite a bit of parts, and then hopefully I can just come home, put that harness into here and try this again, because I really do not want to pull this motor back out. I don't think it's timing. I'm going to double check timing tonight, but I really don't think it's timing. And the fuse panel, this little switch box, works great. Here my fuel pump come on. That's supposed to be for alternator. So the fuse box works great, and I've tested. I'm getting power to my harness. I'm just not getting it from the harness to anywhere else. So that's where I'm at, and I'm probably going to go to the scrapyard tomorrow morning and pull a harness out. I'm going to pull this one off, obviously, tonight as well, and just start fresh. I think the motor is a great motor. I just think it needs a better harness. So that's where I'm at with the motor install. I think the timing's right. I think everything's good. I just think the harness is garbage because I'm not getting injector pulse. Well, and then I'll probably take a computer as well. I'll be greedy and try to get as much as I can, right? But oh, the derby's coming up quick. I think I'm 4 days away and the car will not start. So thanks for watching, guys. Stress is starting to kick in. Stress is starting to kick in. Damn, get this thing done. Thanks for watching, guys.